Yes. Well, there's some things that can stay in the past. My father was actually Babby, and somehow that became our nickname as well. Thank you. Thank you. It will be a change. It will be a change. Football is football, really. You need to block and you need to tackle and you need to really stress the fundamentals. So while the looks may change, football will still be football. We will rely on a team that is fundamentally sound because of these coaches. What we do offensively will be determined by the type of players that we have. What we do defensively will be determined by the players that we have. If we have a lot of good defensive linemen, we'll go to an even front and play less linebackers, that kind of thing. You'll see the use of a tight end and a fullback at times. But the spread formation and what June and Mac have done in the past is a very effective way to move the ball. So we'll incorporate a lot of ideas that way. You always work inside out. So we're going to start in Hawaii, and we'll get to Samoa. Keith will take us there. We'll get into Southern Cal. We'll get into the West Coast, and then we'll hit pockets of areas that we feel like we have a shot at some young men. For example, Euless, Texas has a tremendous amount of a big Polynesian population. Salt Lake City, where Lou has already been to, has a Polynesian population. We'll try to find those pockets, but we'll work ourselves inside out. We'll spend a lot of time in California, Southern California, Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, that kind of thing. It's always good also to recruit in the areas where the teams are involved. So Denver, Colorado, for example, where Colorado State and the Air Force Academy are located. We're going to go wherever it takes to get us good football players. That's what we're going to do. Recruiting is not real difficult. It is, but it isn't. There's three areas: academics, athletics, okay? 2 of the 3. Well, every good school has good academics. If you go to Harvard and you don't study, you're not going to get a good education. You go to Leeward Community and you study, you're going to get a good education. That's one. Athletics, everybody plays good football. The key is number 3, and that is where a young man feels comfortable, where he knows he'll have support, getting up at 6 to go lift, and then go to study table, and then go to practice, and then go back to the meetings. And that's where I said that's why we're going to get the student body involved. I can remember having to play against the University of Hawaii and having to go to hand signals because you couldn't hear the quarterback give the cadence. You go to the University of Oregon, you absolutely cannot hear your quarterback. And he can be standing right here with the lineman right here. And everything has to be done differently. But hopefully that's where we'll get. That's where it was years ago when we used to come over here and play every other year. Wow. We'll have to fix that. I didn't. Somebody told you to sit down? Oh my. I don't know about that. But the advantages of playing at home in response to your question should be enormous. Should be enormous. They should not be able to hear the cadence. They should not be able to hear the cadence. That's the goal. That's why we need all of your help. That's why we need all of your help. If the play is successful, me. If the play is not successful, Tommy. Tommy and I are going to do this thing together. We're going to do this thing together. That's why Tommy is the quarterback receiver coach. Usually it's a 2-man job. So when Tommy wants me to coach the receivers, I'll do that. When Tommy wants me to coach the quarterbacks, together we're going to get this done. It's not about me or you or him. It's about us. It's about us 9 guys and the strength coaches and the administrators and all of you. It's always going to be about us. Never once in the newspaper you ever seen where Tommy Lee beat San Jose State. The University of Hawaii will beat San Jose State, and that includes all of us. It's a lot easier in a booth to call a game because you put your plays up against the wall and you take a dart and you just throw it at it. Whatever comes out, that's what you call.
Yeah, coach is only going to call the touchdown.
That's right, that's right. Finally a tough question. That's a good question. You know, for years, until the recent era, it wasn't difficult to recruit against the University of Hawaii because they didn't recruit very well locally. I mean, the Kurt Govea story is well chronicled. But now, I think because of the state of the program and our desire to show the rest of the country what we're all about, we're going to try to convince them that it's not necessary to go to the mainland to get the exposure that you want to get. It's not necessary to go to Oregon. It's not necessary to go to UCLA. We're going to do a better job of recruiting the state, I promise you that. And perhaps, and I don't know what went on before, and I'm not knocking what it went, I never want to criticize what went on before, but we're going to make more of an effort now. We talked to a couple guys that said they had not heard from the University of Hawaii in previous years. They're going to hear about us. They're going to hear about us. It's not difficult to preach to stay home. While we were recruiting away from Hawaii, we were recruiting those that were in California. Hey, you don't want to go very far. You want to stay home, right? So there's advantage to doing either one, and we're going to intend to give it a go. We're not going to keep everybody at home. We're not. I've heard that, and obviously we intend to change that. I know we're setting up some meetings with the student body. Phil has done a nice job with that. We've already included the dance team in our recruiting efforts. So we're going to change that. I don't know what went on in the past, really not my concern. We're going to fix it up. We're going to fix it up.
A lot of people might want to know how you're including the dance team in the recruiting efforts. Showing up at the house or?
No. What I mean is...
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
You're a trailblazer.
Yeah. No, we're just going to include the student body more in our recruiting efforts. Let's raise the budget. Let's do whatever it takes to be successful in Division I football. Let's get the facilities so that we're not ashamed to show our recruits when they come into town. Right now, I'm not sure we want to show them the locker room. Okay? That's what we need to do. And if it's whatever the budget is, let's all get together and make it better. But we'll make do with what we got. That's one above our pay grade. All we're going to do is recruit. We're going to recruit. In my mind, the coordinators are hired to win football games. The other 7 guys are going to help us win football games, but their primary job is to recruit. That's what we're going to do. Recruiting is the most important thing we do in college football. But it's about getting this thing going. It's about getting this thing going. Not that it hasn't, don't get me wrong, I say that sometimes and I feel like I'm saying it in the wrong manner. It's not that it hasn't been going. We just want to raise the bar. We want to elevate it the way we want it to be. The way we're used to doing it. That's what we want to do. And we need your help, we need your support. Thank you very much for coming. If we can ever help, the practice fields are always open. Spring ball especially, might close it up in fall. You're always welcome. Together, collectively, guys, women, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this thing done. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Norm Chow.